Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Convent Strike, 4 shot, 1 fatally in Hopeville Village, Kingston. A 52-year-old man was shot and killed, and 3 other persons, including a 6-year-old child, were injured during an attack by a gunman in Kingston on Thursday. The deceased has been identified as Anthony Green, otherwise called Rolf, of Sturley Park Road in Kingston. Meanwhile, a 6-year-old child was identified among the 3 persons shot and injured during the attack in Hopeful Village, Kingston 12. Reports from the Almerton Police are that about 7:50 p.m., residents heard explosions in the community and alerted the police. On arrival of the lawmen, Green was seen lying in a pool of blood with gunshot wounds to his upper body. Subsequent checks were made when it was discovered that 3 other people had gunshot injuries. They were transported to hospital where Green was pronounced dead. The others were admitted for treatment. Investigations are ongoing. 2 Coke family members in police custody. 2 relatives of imprisoned Tivoli Gardens area leader Christopher Doddus Coke has been taken into police custody. They are Lester and Andre Coke, who were among 26 men named as persons of interest by the Kingston Western Police last week and asked to turn themselves in. Lester Coke handed himself in on Tuesday, and Andre Coke, otherwise called Raheem, surrendered to lawmen on Thursday. The men are currently being interrogated by police investigators. The police are asking the remaining men to report to the Denhamton Criminal Investigations Branch (CIB). They are Michael Christopher Cook, otherwise called Titty Man, Akeem Song, otherwise called Pupo, Javane Thompson, otherwise called Little Pops, Donovan Rowe, otherwise called Chummy, Ashley Williams, otherwise called Kim, Ryan Brimbridge, otherwise called Brimbridge, Oman Daly, otherwise called OO, Alan Brown, otherwise called Lando, Renardo Phillips, otherwise called Fry Eye, Shamar Gilbert, otherwise called Tender, Courtney Wright, otherwise called Mackerel, Onin Stewart, otherwise called Nero Black, Anthony Clark, otherwise called Deli, Gerald Douglas, otherwise called Ready Ready, Anthony Matthews, otherwise called Little Man, Shamal White, otherwise called Gov, Shalana Matthews, otherwise called Cinco, Shane Price, otherwise called Spain Man, Mario Brown, otherwise called Benny Man, Jumbo Barrett, Bubbo, 5 Shot, Mikey, Lollipop. The police said these are men who were identified by detectives as persons who may be able to assist them with ongoing investigations into crimes committed in the division. Anyone with information that can assist the investigation is asked to contact the Denhamton CIB at 876-948-6443, Crime Stop at 311, the JCF tip line at 811 or the nearest police station. C4 Thai teachers uncertain if deductions now remitted. Teachers at the Seaford High School in St. Thomas, whose deductions were not paid over to various institutions, say they are still uncertain if all the outstanding monies have been paid over. Jamaica Teachers Association representative at the school, Kadime Pennant Miller, says some of the affected companies have received payment, but there has been no disclosure about how much was paid. The teachers say it is uncertain what the other companies will be paid. It was also disclosed that over $1 million in dues collected from the teachers have not been paid over to the Jamaica Teachers Association. The teachers are to meet to discuss the way forward. They previously staged 2 days of sitting at the school to protest the non-remittance of deductions. Attorney Gordon Brown freed of obstruction charge. Well-known Western Jamaican-based attorney Gordon Brown, who was charged with obstruction of justice, was set free in the St. James Parish Court. Brown's legal woes stem from his actions. While representing businessman Michael Issa, Brown had allegedly obstructed the police attempt to secure a firearm from the businessman. In handing down her judgment, presiding parish judge Sasha Ashley said what was presented to the court about what transpired at the Freeport police station in the parish between Brown and the police in defense of his client leaves a reasonable doubt as to whether it unfolded in the matter that the court says it did. So, Mr. Brown, on the remaining charges of obstruction of justice, I find you not guilty, and the case is discharged, as she told Brown in making her decision known. Brown was represented by fellow attorneys Caroline Reed Cameron, KC, Denise Kitson, KC, Raquel Kitson, Anna Greasy, and Henry McCurdy. His client Issa, the stepfather of 9-year-old Gabriel King, who was murdered on January 13, was originally charged with resisting arrest and indecent language when he went to the police station hours after his stepson was allegedly abducted and killed to report his licensed firearm missing. He was charged with negligent loss of a firearm. The gun which was said to have gone missing on December 17, 2021, and is unrelated to the child's death, was later found and the related charges against Issa was dismissed. Gabriel, who was artistic, was found with his throat slashed and his body slumped at the back seat of his mother's car shortly after she told police assailants drug her from the vehicle and drove away with her child in it. The incident allegedly took place on the Tuckerman Road in St. James. The car was quickly found on Oak Hill Avenue in Fairfield Estates. There has been no arrest in the case and no suspect's name. Gabriel was cremated on March 4. St. Elizabeth man accused of sexually assaulting minor freed. A man who was charged over 8 years ago with having sexual intercourse with a minor was on Thursday freed when he appeared in the St. Elizabeth Circuit Court. Winston Farquharson of Bethlehem in St. Elizabeth was freed after the court offered no evidence. The court was told that in May 2014, Mr. Farquharson sexually assaulted a girl who was under the age of 16 and intellectually unstable. A report was made to the Silo police, and Mr. Farquharson went into hiding until his arrest days later. It was revealed in court that due to her mental status, the girl would be unable to provide evidence. Based on the findings, the prosecution offered no evidence in the matter. Phillips chides transport operators for amassing dozens of unpaid traffic tickets. Opposition spokesman on transport Michael Phillips has chided transport operators for amassing dozens of unpaid traffic tickets. This as he expressed support for a government's decision to allow motorists with outstanding tickets time to pay the fines. The move will prevent demerit points from being accrued on their license with the implementation of the new Road Traffic Act. Mr. Phillips stressed that it should not be seen as an amnesty. Mr. Phillips noted that there are obvious weaknesses in the traffic ticket system.
I think that the government has given the best option it has. It has in its arsenal. It should not be seen as an amnesty. I would think what the operators ask for is some time to pay the outstanding tickets. But at the same time, I'd say to the operators that there's no need for you to amass so many tickets. If it is that the government feel that it is a way in bringing in revenue, then it's a different matter. What would end up happening is that there are some operators that when the new Road Traffic Act comes into being will end up losing their driver's license. And I think this is a way of cleaning up the system. And I hope that they won't see themselves in this situation anymore, because once the new Road Traffic Act comes into being, then what will end up happening is there is going to be an automatic suspension of the driver's license. The system is actually broken. No one should really, be it a public passenger operator or even a private citizen, should not be able to amass so many tickets without the system picking it up. As these operators have to apply for their permits with the Transport Authority every year. Why is it that somebody's going around with hundreds of tickets without even facing the courts? So I think we have to take a deeper look. One of my disappointments is that we have taken so long to bring the new Road Traffic Act into being. It was in gesticulation for about 4 years.
Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell.